let's go ahead and get started. So I'm using an airbrush to try to cover the deuters a little quicker. I already put down the brown coat and all the brown parts. So now I'm just going to move on to the next color. And this may or may not be a good way, a bad way, the fastest way to paint an army. I know lots of people have their opinions about how to do it, what works best. I haven't really tried everything out there as far as different stuff that people have used. I need to probably try different things, but I like the airbrush. So I figured I would just give it a shot and see how it went. And put down just a base coat. It's not covered everything really well. There's still some black showing through, so I'm still going to have to do touch-ups with the browns and the other colors. And with the airbrush, you obviously don't have the same control as you do, with a brush. So that also is going to be a factor, and I'm going to have to go back and retouch, with all the colors. But, But I don't know if it'll be any quicker or faster by doing this or just trying to do a regular brush. So we're going to do this. Alright, so I need to remember what color I was going to do for, let's see, I started this last week. I was going to do purple. Yeah. Let me grab my picture. Yeah, okay. So we're going to do a purple on the hood and a little bit, there's a little bit here in the garments in the bottom. And then there's some plate mail. And then we'll do green on the rest of like the cloak and whatnot, and then we'll get into the white. And then after that, I'll probably stop airbrushing and I'll probably just brush on the metal, because that tends to be that tends to go over black pretty well, and I want the black showing through anyway. So this is Hex Lichen. That's the purple color I'm going to use. All right. So let's put this in. So I'm using a real fine detail point needle. So I'm going to use both some airbrush thinner, because I got to thin these paints down because they're not airbrush paints. And I'm also going to use some flow improver. Alright, take a brush and mix them all up. Now my process is a little slow even for the airbrush. I've seen some guys have like little special things that they can just kind of spit out the paint in their brush and just keep moving, keep going. I haven't really figured out the system yet that I feel like works really well for me. I'm still kind of new to it and working on it. I started doing the airbrush pretty much at the same time as I started painting, so alright, you guys can see this? Okay, here we go. Alright, so purple is going to be here in the hood. I should turn my pressure down. Alright, there we go. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, I'm already getting on some of the black, or on the brown, but that's okay. Like I said, this is just sort of to get a good quick pass so that I don't have to sit here and waste a bunch of time putting on 5 million coats with a brush. I would rather come through and touch up later with a brush and just have to do some minor touch up versus a whole bunch of layers. That may not be the best solution. That's why I'm only doing this with these, what, 6 or 7, 8 guys to see how it goes. And then after that, if it seems to work okay, then I'll just stick with it. This dude's arm is broke. One thing I don't like about these Reanimate archers from Fantasy Flight for Rune Wars, actually a lot of the models, the early models anyway, they're really kind of a pain in the butt to assemble. And they're flimsy. So maybe that's true of other models, I don't know. It was kind of disappointing. I didn't have that much of an issue so far with some of the Dakin warriors and spearmen that I did. Definitely didn't have that problem on the rune golems. So this purple's going on real nice. Hopefully you can see it. Oh, I need to move in the camera a little bit more, don't I? Alright, I got my little, this is what I use to kind of clean off my brush when I need to real quick, start getting some gunk. It happens a lot with the fine detail needle. The flow improver definitely helps to make that not happen, but it inevitably happens. You gotta kind of stop every now and then. Especially happens a lot because I'm moving slow. I'm not doing just like large swaths of purple. Now some of you guys out there that are probably quicker with the brush, you probably for sure would be able to do these guys a lot better, probably with some brush work. But like I said, this is, I just feel a little more comfortable with an airbrush. Just putting down some base layers. It's not going to be real clean right away the first time. It's just meant to kind of get through that initial painful 3 or 4 layers. Sometimes black is really hard as a base color. I don't really have other base color options. I don't have other base colors to pick from. Darn it, I might need to add more full improver. Really my only option for base colors is black or white. That's all I've got at the moment, so it's kind of it. But honestly, I don't even know what I would have base colored these guys if it wasn't black or white. I've heard that using, could have used maybe a gray, but I wanted the colors underneath to be darker. I didn't want it to be super bright, so that's why I went with black initially. And I base coated these a while ago, so it's not like this was a decision that I had made in the last month even. But I also figured, I've also seen where you can do like a beige base coat after you prime, and that seems to work pretty good too. I haven't tried that myself, but that was a little trick I learned from YouTube somewhere as well. I should remember all these YouTube places I go and see stuff, because I'm sure they would appreciate if I remembered and told you about them. I'm sure it'll come to me. Ah, this keeps getting. My hands are so. These guys are so small. My hands are so big. Crap. Really digging this purple though. This is a really cool purple. When I assembled this, I was looking at it from the standpoint of I was going to be brush painting, not airbrush painting. So that's why they're a little bit. Oh, there goes the arm. No. Ugh. Crap. It's gonna probably happen to a lot of these guys. I shouldn't have put those arms on. That's a bummer. Oh, all right. That sucks. I mean, I can always glue it. That's true. All right, this guy had already started. I'd done brush work with him already. I didn't like the way it was turning out, and this is when I realized how long it was going to take. So, and you know, I don't know. Those of you that may have more experience with this, if you're watching, you may be like, you know what? There's no shortcuts to good minis, and that's true. But these are also just my little army dudes. And I don't really care if they don't look super immaculate. I just want them to be tabletop ready. So there'll probably be better ways of doing this, and I'll find it eventually. Alright, increase my pressure a little bit. There, that's better. So you can see this guy's arm is also broken. If I don't glue it on, that's how it's gonna look. Which is dumb. But oh well. I shouldn't have glued on the arms before I started. But I figured I'd be brush painting around it. Alright. Ah! Keep dropping them. My hands are so big. I should put them on my I have prescription bottles. That would probably be a lot easier. So yeah, as I said earlier, I'm not a big dog guy. I used to be, but our house probably isn't the best house to have a dog in, to be honest. We don't really have a yard. And dogs require a lot of work. And I don't think the amount of work is enough of a reward, or dogs don't give off enough of a reward the amount of work they require. Cats are so much easier. But, you know, a lot of people think otherwise, including my wife, and that's fine. Alright. Uh-oh, I'm getting air bubbles. Ah, hitting the lights too. There we go. Alright, so note to self. More airflow improver, or paint improver, or whatever it's called. Ah! See, there I go again. Dropping the freaking mini. Alright, so sorry, this is probably kind of boring. I'm not really doing anything exciting miniature wise, just sort of laying down some base coats with an airbrush. Trying to see if this is any easier doing it this way versus actual paint, or actual brush, sorry. And obviously I'm not staying in the lines, I'm not coloring in the lines, just trying to get some basic coats down there, and I'll go back with the brush and neaten it up later. And I'm only doing a few of these guys like this to see if it actually works. If it doesn't work, well, then I will be right back to using a brush. Just have a tendency to get bored doing so many dudes at one time. I do love this game though. This is Rune miniature game. Unfortunately, they just stopped doing tournament play. And everyone, as a result, thinks that Fantasy Flight is no longer going to do releases anymore for this game. And what's out is out, which would be unfortunate because it's actually, I like it. It was the first war game I ever played. I've played Kill Team. That was pretty fun. I wasn't very good at it. The only thing I don't like about Kill Team is all the measuring you have to do. And there's a lot of, is there a line of sight, not line of sight. And it makes for some cool tactical decisions. I mean, I definitely know why they put it in there. And I think that for a lot of guys, like, that's their jam. You know, you got to rely on hiding behind stuff and Can you see me? Can you not see me? All that kind of cool stuff. But I don't know. I feel like there was just a lot of measuring. But that was the one thing I also wanted to see about Age of Sigmar, because I love the Age of Sigmar models. I think they look so cool, but it's so expensive. This was by far way cheaper, which I guess you can kind of tell by how my models are falling apart. But not all of them are this bad. I've put together quite a few, well, fitted. They're all push fit. I've push fit a lot of the other models for Rune Wars, and not glued them down, but just to kind of see how they fit. And they fit together a lot better than these guys did. It's not as bad as these skeletons. But like I said, some of them too are later versions of this game, so they're things that like more later, like some of the later expansions. This dude's arm's about to fall off too. But anyway, Age of Sigmar has got some beautiful models, and I really would love to get into it and paint it. But that's kind of more where I'm at with it. I'd rather paint Age of Sigmar than play it, just because I wasn't too impressed with the Warhammer gameplay. And for the cost of getting into it, the fact that I'm not entirely sure I would really enjoy it, I don't know if it's worth the money. I will say that I have some friends that play Kill Team, and I go there, you know, if I can make it, I'd go over there and I play, but I play with their armies. I play with stuff that's already built, they got extra, and that's a lot more fun, because then I don't have to put a ton of time into it. I don't have to paint a bunch of stuff. I also bought Shadespire, and that's pretty fun. I like that. That's really quick. I like the gameplay. And then you also get Age of Sigmar figures with it, so that's a bonus. Alright. So those guys are... Purple's kind of done. I'm wondering if I want to put some purple on the arrowheads. Or do I... No, I'm going to do green. That's too much purple next to the head. Alright. So we're going to dump this. Let's do... Where's my water? Here it is. That's wasteful paint. I know. No one say anything. Shouldn't have done that. I overestimated. I should try to save it. There really wasn't that much left, though, if I'm being honest. I don't really have anything to put it in. Do I clean my airbrush every time I switch paint colors? Just about. I'm really anal that way. And that's probably something I need to get over, because I probably could save a ton of time not doing that. Especially if I'm trying to be quicker painting an army. That's the whole point of why I'm doing this with an airbrush. And if I'm going to clean between colors every time, I might as well just use a brush, right? I'm pretty much spending the same amount of time. But there is something to be said for spending time that you don't mind spending, and spending time that you have to spend and you hate spending. So I don't really mind cleaning my airbrush. There's a little bit of a satisfaction to it. Alright, I'm squirting out the paint now in a little bottle. Trying to get it a little squeaky clean. Now if I was doing something like a transition, I wouldn't necessarily clean it that well. If I wanted some of the colors to bleed and blend together and glaze over with the brush or something, I wouldn't do this. I would probably at that point transfer what I had left to a cup in case I needed it. I have these little medicine pill cups like this. I'd probably put it in there. And speaking of which, I need to fill one of these with some distilled water and keep it, and then use that if I needed it again, and then add my next color for the transition. But another reason that I'm cleaning the brush out is because that purple was sitting in the bowl for quite a while. And so I'm almost positive that paint was drying up in there pretty good. So I didn't want to just keep using it and have it gunk up even more. All right, good to go. Try it out a little bit. All right, we'll do some green. Alright, I do have to redo the green on here because I decided to go with a different green for the rest. You don't need to see me shake my paint, do you? Alright. Well, you know what? I'm gonna add my flow or my airbrush. I'm getting low on this. I better get some more in there. All right. See if I can actually gauge my ratios right this time. All right, I'm gonna mix that up. So that's thinner and jade green. Ooh. And I got my, this is flow improver. All right. So, looking good. Get my handy dandy brush. Alright, so we're going to go over this green again, since I wanted different green than what I had put out here. Ooh, that is a blue-green. I thought it was going to be a little brighter than that. Very cool color. We'll have to see what it looks like against the purple. But that's kind of cool. If I use that in some of the carrion crawlers, it's kind of got that sort of eerie, undead, mystical thing about it. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. Something about Age of Sigmar or something. War games. Yeah, I don't know what you guys have played, if you've played anything. I have played Star Wars Armada. I have that game, but you don't paint anything for Star Wars Armada. Alright. Oh. How about I do the front? Mr. Broken Hand. Okay. No, that's not bad. We'll see how that turns out without the green underneath as a base tone, though. Alright, let's see if that's any different when we actually have a black base coat. I gotta move some of this stuff. I feel pretty, oh so pretty and witty. This is a very cool green. I somehow missed that when I got the bottle. Oh yeah, look at that. I made a nice mess on the hood. It's okay. Like I said, it's going to require touch-up anyway. I still think this is going faster than if I had to paint a bunch or use a brush to put a bunch of layers down. I also apologize again if you're in here. There's no music playing. I had some technical difficulties earlier today. Just before we started, it was actually a little late. And I couldn't get the freaking stream to work right. And I'm a little worried my upload speed is kind of low. So I'm not putting any music on tonight. Ah. All right, keep going here. Do the sides. Tell you what, I never used to use Flow Improver. Oh my gosh, it is a game changer. And I'm still wiping off the end, like the tip, because stuff's getting on it. But it's so much nicer. Okay, now see, there I go. I'm an idiot. I totally blasted over a bunch of purple parts right down in there, and that was probably when I could have just put the purple I had in a cup and saved it, and I could have dumped that back in after this and fixed that, rather than having to put a whole bunch of brand new purple in. So, lesson learned. Save your friggin' paint. Oh well. The paint goes on pretty well, though. I don't think it'll be a problem with the brush to fix that. It's not like I gotta put a whole massive coat on. Darn it, stop doing that. Alright, I'm splattering. Darn it. I'll mix this up a little bit again. Ooh, wow, got a lot on the brown right there. Congratulations, Rico. So now I'm a little nervous that I glued so many of these other guys together. This is kind of proving to be a pain in the butt. And if I hadn't glued on the arms, they probably wouldn't be breaking as much. All right. 3 down. Oh. I forgot the arrows on this guy. So, I have some D&D miniatures. I have a Remoraz from WizKids. That thing's pretty sweet looking. I'm pretty excited to paint that at some point. All right. Pretty handy dandy. Alright, you know, I am going to try putting some music on. It's too quiet. My computer is running awfully slow right now. Probably should have restarted it before I did this. Stupid computers. Also didn't realize my webcam was not working. It was stuck. Go me. Alright, back to work. There, so now when I'm not saying anything, you got some music to keep you company. Now, if I really wanted this to go a lot faster, I probably would just paint all this stuff down here all the same color versus trying to do two different colors. Well, then it wouldn't look as cool. Alright. Hopefully I'll get through this boring part with the airbrush and actually get to some of the painting and shading. Take a drink. Still got plenty of green in there. This is one of the dudes I couldn't find. I lost his arms, the bow and the arms on this guy. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe they never came, but I doubt that. I probably lost him. So he's going to be an extra. Be an extra little duder for D&D. Ah, getting on the leather. So unfortunately, I've realized in my quote-unquote old age, painting miniatures made me realize that I need bifocals. I was sad, because if I look at it with my bifocals off, like that, I can't see. I'm like, huh? I can't see crap when I'm looking without my glasses forward. And I thought for sure I would never need bifocals. I thought I would only ever need glasses to see far away. I was so wrong. So bummed. Alright, 2 more. And I gotta decide if I want to do the bone. I probably do. It was a pain in the butt to do that first guy with the bone. Man, really screwing up the belt in this one. Brown is a pain in the butt too. And by that I mean it was a pain in the butt to cover. Get enough on it to cover the areas I needed so that the black didn't show through. That's why I started doing it with the airbrush. That was the whole reason that started this thing. Got sick of screwing around with the paintbrush, taking forever to get the paint layers up enough to get good contrast. This way I figured even if I spill over in some of the other areas with the airbrush, at least there's other paint down. The question's going to be, will it be noticeable? So like some of these places where the green's going over where I had brown or purple, and I put the color back over, so like I put green over, or the purple back where I've squirted green and made some mistakes. Is that going to be different because the purple's underneath and not the black? Is it going to be that noticeable, or are the colors dark enough this is going to work? That's why I kind of stuck to colors that were not so bright, a little cooler. I didn't realize this green would be this cool. And I'm hoping that in the places later where I go back to fix with a brush, won't be a huge weird transition of color that's real noticeable. Hopefully it won't be that bad. I do have an exhaust fan for when I airbrush, but I could not for the life of me figure out a way to live stream and have the camera set up so that everything was visible for you all to see. So it's not up right now. It's actually a homemade exhaust fan that I did with a fan from Home Depot, a bathroom fan, bathroom ceiling fan. Mounted that in some wood, wired it up, and presto changeo, I had an exhaust fan. I used some ventilation hose and some, what do they call it, insulation. Measured out how wide my window was and took the hose insulation and put it through the ventilation and outside the fan at the end of the back, and then it sits in my window kind of that way and exhaust everything. I know some people freak out about using exhaust fans because there could be a spark, you could get a fire. Honestly, I don't know if that's really an issue with acrylics because acrylics are water-based. Maybe they are, I don't know. But I'm not painting with anything that's flammable, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Yeah. I don't know what the solution to that is. I thought I read somewhere if you're going to make your own exhaust fan, make sure it's not brushless or is a brushless fan. But I also kind of think that it might be a little overrated as far as safety goes because I'm not sure there's going to be enough gases to actually cause anything to happen, or enough. I don't know. I'm not like an expert on that stuff, so I probably shouldn't say it is or isn't anything. But okay, so To bone or not to bone? Ha ha ha. I should do this. Okay. I guess still have some green left. You know what? Maybe I'll just take some of my other nerds. Well, I don't want to do that. Do I? Sure. Rather than let the green go to waste, let's take some of my other nerds and paint them real quick. Here are all those duders. Let's do these guys. Let's see if I can get 4 of them. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. Actually, I have no idea what music is playing. Last time I live streamed, it was some sort of techno or something good. I hope it's something good again. If it's not, I apologize. I guess good is relative, right? Depends on your taste in music. Some of you may be like, techno sucks. It's not good. No one likes techno. I like techno. So there. It's my stream. I can play what I want. No. Wow, these guys are way easier when they don't have freaking bows hanging down in places where you can't get too easy. Freaking bows. Alright. Well, that was pretty easy. Oh, no, that's good. Okay. Green's still a-going. Oh. Starting to get kind of liquidy. Might want to mix it up a little bit again. My water's getting nasty. Woo! Yeah. Nasty water. Nasty water. So gross. Alright, there. There we go, that's better. Oh, sorry. Probably couldn't see that. I was going off the table. Going off camera. It's going to take some getting used to. Thinking about painting, thinking about the camera, thinking about, is my webcam stuck? Is everything working like it's supposed to? Can everyone hear me? Oh, I hear the music now. It's something cool. At least I think it's cool. Wow, that's quite the spread. Okay. Oh, arrows. Still got green. Oh boy. 11, 10. Alright, well. Oh, that's my cat. I'm like, what in the world is that noise? You can't hear it, but it freaked me out. He's in his cat litter, doing cat litter type things. And I thought it was scraping at the door, and I'm like, who the heck is at my door scraping? And by that I mean my door to the outside, because my basement has a door that goes to our garage. And I was like, someone's in my garage scraping at my door. They're about to get a fistful of dollars. Uh-oh, I dropped my... Oh boy. Fistful of dollars. They'd love that, wouldn't they? Get out of my house. Here's some dollars. So I'm starting to get the feeling, if I'm into the live streaming miniature painting, I probably should do something more interesting and cool than a bunch of Reanimate archers. Because for the last hour and a half, it's been nothing but painting Reanimate archers with an airbrush. Something tells me this is not going to hold viewers' attention. Now, if I was doing maybe like some part of the Reanimate archers that was interesting, I don't know. You can only watch person airbrush paint on the same friggin' miniatures for so long before you're like, okay, I get it. Especially when there's so many of them. If I have a million of them, it might not be that bad. fact, I wonder if anyone's even been here the whole time. I can't really see. Noel's logged in at the moment. I'm looking over this way. I'm looking at, I have an iPad up that's connected to my stream, and I can see the chat. I can see my video. My webcam stuck again? No, I'm moving. Okay. It doesn't really show me in the iPad who's logged in and who's here. I think I've had a few people like pop in real quick and then leave. That's enough. We're gonna stop. Oops, I'm driving myself crazy doing this. Still not as boring to me as painting with a brush, but okay. All right. Where? Here it is. So I'll have to figure out a new setup for down here when I do this stuff so that I can have my vent. It's really not a big deal for airbrushing like this little tiny stuff though. But if I ever decide to do like that Ramirez, which is a lot bigger, or an AT Walker that I have that I need to do at some point, or some other stuff, well then probably want the vent because I'm going to be putting down a lot more paint, and I don't want it to go everywhere. Alright, do a little bit more cleaning. Oh, it's too much water. And you haven't been here the whole time. Last time I cleaned this, yes, I'm a little obsessive compulsive about cleaning my airbrush. And though it does slow me down, I tend to clean it pretty well between every paint color, unless I'm doing blends or glazes with it. And that probably seems ridiculous, and I probably need to learn to get over that and not do it, but it's what I do. So, whatever. It's like I said before, it's one of those tasks that though it takes extra time and probably delays my efficiency, it's not one of those tasks that drives me crazy, like having to put 6 layers of paint on with a brush, that I'm willing to do, even though it may slow me down. Alright, so now the question is, do I airbrush the bone on the faces, some of the hands, or do I brush it? I will probably make less of a mess if I just brush it. So let's do that. Alright, I'm gonna go change my water out because the water I have has a lot of the cleaning chemicals in it, and I don't want that when I do the brushing. So I'll be right back, and I'm gonna go get some cookies. Alright, clean water, go grab some cookies, I'll be right back. Alright. This might be a bad idea. Because I can't breathe out of my nose very well. Which means I have to eat my cookies with my mouth open. Uh-oh. Alright. My stream twitched a little there. Get it? Twitched? Ha! Alright, let's try this. If you see my food, I apologize. My cat's going ballistic. I don't know what he's doing. Alright. Let's see. How can I arrange this so that you can see what I'm doing and still get me paint? Guess I'll do that. Oh, it's still in the way. Alright, let's move this. Alright. So this is my wet palette. It's a little container from the grocery store. Plastic. Tupperware. with paper towel on the bottom, and on top of that is some of that parchment paper which you use in the stove, baking parchment paper. And I put water underneath it, and it's wet. Imagine that, wet palette. Alright, I need my brushes. I need my brushes. Alright, no, those aren't the greatest brushes in the world, but they work. Actually, this isn't bad. It's been used quite a bit, so the tip is a little worn out, but oh, I think that reminds me. I'm gonna get my stuff to clean them. All right. So what's interesting to me is I do see a lot of people on here streaming when they paint their miniatures. And I keep asking myself, why am I doing this? Am I really that different from anybody else? Do I really have anything that, you know, show anybody? There's definitely better people on here that, whoa, it's a lot of soap. There's definitely better people on here, better painters that stream. I don't know. I'm doing it because it's fun and I enjoy it, so that's why I'm doing this. I may never get a bajillion viewers, at least not for painting, because I do stream other things. I like to sew. I sew clothes and crafts and stuff. So, kind of varied up. That's why it's called Stuff by Suave, because it's lots of different stuff. Alright, that pink stuff you saw me use, if you're wondering, it's pink soap, Speedball. Boop. I use that in a little bit of a medicine cup, some water, especially if the palette could get a little dry, or my brush is going to get a little dry because I'm kind of painting slow because I'm a slow painter. That's what I use to keep my brushes that I like clean, so they last a little longer. Did you get all that between the chews? Alright, bone white. I'm using bone white. Alright, so I'm putting in my wet palette. This will be my base coat for the bones. We'll do a little bit of water. We got a little water dropper. So I'll put, you know, 2-3 drops of paint on the wet palette and like 1 or 2 of this. Just to thin it out a little bit. With Vallejo paints, I don't tend to get too crazy with thinning. Unless I need to do like really super fine layer glazing, whatever. Sometimes I wet blend. I find wet blending a little easier, but you don't always get as nice of transitions. Obviously using shade, your inks or your shade colors will work too for different things. And then I do have glaze medium somewhere around here. And I use Vallejo's glaze medium. And that's really helpful for blending. But, alright. Let's paint those skeleton faces. Oh dearie. Alright, if I'm here, can you see-ish? Kind of. Alright. Wow, my camera I feel like moved. Alright. So I'm going to do the bone first, and then I'll go back through, neaten up the other colors. And then I'll do another layer of the bone, because that will have dried. And you're going to see, maybe you won't be able to see it, but there's a lot of black that's going to show through. As I was saying before, I could have potentially started the shade, or I'm sorry, the primer a different color than black. I don't know what would have been better. I wanted a dark color because I didn't want the skeletons and everything to get really bright like the Dakin warriors, or the good guys essentially. And oh my gosh, do you realize who I just painted? Okay, if you were born in the 80s or even in the late 70s and you watched cartoons every weekday or Saturday, who is that? Just the face and the hood. I mean, come on. I'll give you a hint. He was part of a cartoon TV show. The dude had really big muscles and a big freaking sword until, well, he wasn't like that normally. He would say 2 special words. This little dorky kid would get transformed into this big, bulking, huge man. And he had an awesome tiger for a ride. Yes, we're talking about none other than He-Man and Skeletor. That right there is Skeletor. Now I'm very happy I used that purple on the hood. Rock on! Rock on, my friends. Man, I'm not going my airbrush. Cookie! I think it'd be an issue, but I actually don't have enough light. I'm having a hard time seeing. There's some weird shadows. I can't see all the model sometimes. I got 2 lights set up for the camera. They're not bright enough to actually get into some of the little nooks and crannies of the duders to penetrate. Normally I have an overhead light that I use that's attached to that ventilation hood that I was talking about earlier. I'm not getting super bright. Nice thing is these studio lights that I have set up are white light. They're 5000, 5500 Kelvin. So it's like daylight, which is good for the colors. Well, you can't see. I was painting under these much softer yellow lights, and of course, you know, you get used to it. I didn't realize how much it played with the colors until I started painting under my ventilation hood, which had a daylight, an LED daylight in it that hangs. And I was like, holy crap, this makes a big difference. The colors look very different. And I should know that. And I do other art things, crying out loud. I've done photography. I I do watercolor, I do pastels. I try to draw. I'm not the greatest drawer in the world. So you'd think I would understand how light acts on color. Go me. Alright, this isn't as bad as I thought. Not taking that long. I'm just going to do another. Well, wait, do I want to? Because if I screw up in the purple, and I get purple on his face, I'm going to want to come back and redo it. We're going to put some blue in those eye sockets. Have some really cool electric blue for Skeletor. Actually, I don't remember what Skeletor's eye color was. Was it blue? I should look it up. Alright, it's looking pretty good though. I like those colors. All those cool colors. Cat's annoying me. He wants to come up on my lap. No, cat, no. I am a cat person. I said earlier I was not a dog person. That is true. I like everyone else's dogs. I don't like my own. I'm one of those people. Gosh, look how thin that is. It's so annoying. I didn't add that much water either. Whites just for some reason are so transparent. I guess that makes sense. It is white. It should be transparent. But still, it's annoying. Whites get chalky sometimes. This one doesn't though. This bone white's pretty good. I've found that the less pure white you use, usually the better it is. It's usually not as crappy. I actually have arms on this one I need to paint. Alright, here's the moment of truth. I've got green on some of these skeletal hands. We'll see how bad that makes the paint, the white on top of it, look. How transparent that gets. If it's any different from the black or it's not a big deal. We're gonna hope it's not a big deal. See, now if I was using an airbrush, it'd be done already. I'd have like 2 of these guys, 3 of these guys finished with their little skeletal hands, but I also would have friggin' put white paint everywhere and stuff I'd already done. So annoying. This is why I like bigger models. Oops. Ah! That's a lot of paint. Ah! Too much paint! Holy crap. Rico. Wipe some of that up. I haven't been paying very close attention to the chat. She likes Suave Chica. Suave Chica says, I like the brighter colors. And then she put a Bob Ross symbol down. I know you like the brighter colors, my love, but these are undead. So they shouldn't be bright. They should be dark and spooky and want to invoke fear and death. It's science. Oh, you mean you like the bright colors, meaning you think these are bright colors. I see what you're saying. I had to think about that. You are correct in that they're bright in the sense that they're not just grays, kind of drab and dreary. But if you compared this next to the deck and spearman I painted, it would not be as bright. You know why I think this is getting so watery? It's because my wet palette is too wet. See if I can lift that up a little bit. I think I got too much water seeping through the stupid parchment paper. Ah! Keep forgetting not to load my brush so much. I think my fingers are getting used to painting these little guys. They don't hurt as much now as they did when I first started. Skeletor, blah, blah. You probably hear me tinking the water a lot. Clean my brush off all the time. I'm also an obsessive brush cleaner. And I hate getting dry paint on my brush. It drives me nuts. So I think for the skeleton part, the hands, when we add our shade, I'm going to do probably something more on the brown, like a sepia. I think that'd be cool. Kind of give it a dirty, oily look. I got that. You can kind of, maybe you can even see it like this hand right here. Got some of the brown on when I was brushing it or airbrushing it. And it kind of has that more brownish sort of sepia look to it. I think would be kind of cool. Kind of gives it an older, used look. Oh, I keep moving off the edge of the table too much off the camera. I'll move some of the stuff so that you can see better. I'm doing that partially because I don't have my elbows up. There. You probably see my head to the top of my head the whole time on the webcam, which is probably weird. Lessons learned. I'm a new streamer. Give me a break. I will improve. Ah! Ah! All right. Moving on. What do we got here? 2 viewers. All right. I'm not alone. How are you guys doing? What you up to? Who's that one guy? I think it was in the 90s. Maybe it was a Saturday Night Live skit. I always used to be like, how did he go? Yeah, like, so if someone's name was like Herman, he'd be like, Herman, Hermanizer, Hermaster, how you doing? I don't remember who that was. Was that a Wayne's World thing? Was that a Wayne and Garth thing? Remember when it was popular to make movies based off Saturday Night Live characters? Of course, I guess that's how a lot of the Saturday Night Live guys got started, right? So we never would have heard of Adam Sandler or Chris Farley except through TV. Some of those movies were so terrible, though. Oh my gosh. And then Jim Carrey. Oh, good lord. He drives me nuts. I like his stuff now because it's not as over the top. But he was way over the top. For me. Lots of people find that funny. Like Dumb and Dumber. Ugh. Hate that freaking movie. So all-time favorite movie in the whole world for me. Is it really a single movie? It's Lord of the Rings. Can't really pick. Well, if I had to pick one of Lord of the Rings, one movie, I'm probably cliche, but it would be Return of the King. Although I really did enjoy the first movie a lot. The second movie was good. All of them are good to me. I love Lord of the Rings. I've read the book a bunch of times, but I think the third movie was just awesome because maybe it's not a fair way to judge the movie, but the battle at Pelennor Fields was just amazing. But I also loved the way that they did all the colors and stuff in that movie with the undead and the Witch King. My daughter is named Aelin, so she's named after a character from Rohan, and she is definitely a warrior princess. It's all about her outfits, but she's a pretty tough cookie. And she is definitely the slayer of the Witch King of Angmar. Not sure I could count myself as a true Lord of the Rings fan because I actually have not read all of the Silmarillion yet. I've only read... I've gotten about halfway through it. It's kind of a tough read. And by tough, I don't mean like the words are tough. It's just, it's kind of confusing. But that was also years and years and years ago, so I should probably try reading it now that I'm a little more well versed in Tolkien lore and other Tolkien-ish things. I've read The Hobbit a couple times. I just finished reading The Hobbit actually with my son. He's 8. And we watched the movies. I won't let him watch Lord of the Rings yet, or read it, because if you've ever watched all 6 of those movies back to back, The Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit is very happy in a lot of ways. The colors are brighter. There are some, well, I shouldn't say it's, I mean, it is brighter in a lot of ways. Obviously the scenes with Sauron and all of that are dark, but in general the movie just has more humor. It's a little more lighthearted and fun, you know. It's sad ending. Lalo, my son, knew it was coming because we read the books. We knew who all died and survived in the end. But Lord of the Rings, I feel like, is kind of a different beast because the movie does a good job of portraying the change in Sam and Frodo, but especially Frodo, and everything he went through getting that ring to Mount Doom and seeing all the things that he saw. A lot like war. War changes people, and you see things happen to your friends, people around you, and all the hobbits come back changed, not quite themselves. Some are able to kind of move on and find themselves again, but not Frodo, not till he basically goes off to the Undying Lands. And so I feel like that's a really important part of the movie and the story, and I want Lalo to understand that. And at 8 years old, I feel like he's a little too young, obviously, to understand some things about war and how hard it can be when you see things like that. So that's why we haven't watched it. It's just a little too... It's not so much I don't think it'll scare him. It's just something I feel like the content is just not right yet for him. speaking of family, if you go to my website, stuffbysuave.com, I've got a podcast up. My family, we all play, my wife and me, my daughter, Awen, and my son, Lalo, all play Dungeons and Dragons. And I have another daughter, Adeline, but she's like 1. She obviously doesn't play. She screams. Not all the time. So sometimes she's our sound effects person for like the monsters and stuff. But she's there, you know, she sees everybody, and she's got like, I have like one of those giant like small baby fist sized dice for her to roll a d20. But anyway, I've got a podcast. I record our sessions when I can. Sometimes the sessions are a complete flop because the kids are just ridiculously tired or cranky, and it's just like everyone is whining and moaning, and it's just like, this is no fun. But I wanted to start playing D&D with my family because I wanted us to have something to do together that we could bond over, like a game, and have conversations about things like mercy and morals, and, you know, do we want to let people live or die? And, you know, it's just a game, and I'm not like super serious about it, but still, it's fun to kind of see some of the interactions play out with my kids. Anyone loves unicorns, so everything for her is about unicorns right now. And to my surprise, my wife actually really enjoys playing, and in fact is eager to achieve level 20, which also surprised me. But I am happy. I'm glad. So the podcast that's there right now, we're playing through Princes of the Apocalypse. It's a module from Wizards of the Coast. Came out a couple years ago so 5th edition is the latest edition of D&D now. And Princes of the Apocalypse is one of the adventure modules that they published. It's not the first adventure that the family has played. I actually made up my own mini adventure to kind of get them started. Basically took a bunch of pre-made modules, like I get a lot of my modules through rpgdrivethrough.com, and got a bunch of modules from there. Kind of was able to string together a story through not randomly, I mean, I selected these modules, and I'd modify them a little bit to fit. Everybody got up to, I think level 8 was the highest level they got up to. They had fun. So then we decided to do Princess of the Apocalypse, which actually technically only goes to level 13, 14 is its kind of max. But I'll probably extend it and get everybody up to level 20. Plus there's only technically 3 people playing. Aowen is, Aowen is she's 4. Turning 4 in a couple weeks. So she's not always the most on-task player, so I play her character. She's a Dwarven Barbarian. And, you know, she makes decisions. I mean, she likes to participate, sometimes better than others at certain weeks. She's better at it than other weeks, but... So that's kind of been my vehicle to kind of guide my wife and my son on how to play, sort of, you know, who's going to sneak, who's going to, you know, you have this spell to cast, or here's an idea to do this to get across the scary pond that's in front of you or something. You know, I've played D&D since I was 12, 11 years old. I've played forever. So I know a lot of the basics of survival in D&D. So it's been fun. Hopefully it'll be something that will last, and we'll play and continue to do so. Right now my son really loves to play games with me, which is awesome. I hope he continues to carry that love on as he gets older. Yep, even with cleaning my airbrush out, I still think it's way faster than doing this brushwork. And I'm scared to make my paint too thick because I don't want to lose the detail in the bone or the clothing. Fill in the eye sockets with a bunch of paint or something stupid. We'll have to see. I've got, what, 2 left? I don't know. Maybe hopefully the touch-up will go quicker than this painting the white on. The white paint also thinned out a lot too, though. I think my wet palette is too wet. Too much water under there. I should take out the paper towel under there and put a new one down. It's not so soaked. You guys can't really see either what I'm doing here because there's not a lot of light with my hand in the way. I gotta hold it in a weird position. You know what? I should just get. I don't have any sticky tack around here. Well, I'll do that after I finish up this. So it's getting close to midnight. I said I was going to stop at midnight, but I think I'm going to keep going a little bit longer. I would like to get a good solid white coat on these guys, but I won't do another coat of white tonight. I'll spare you the boringness of that. Maybe what I'll try doing, there's a lot of browns. I don't know if I'll do the brown. Maybe I'll try touching up the purple after I do these last 2 guys and the white parts. See how that goes, and then maybe call it quits after that. If it seems like the touching up of the purple is going pretty quick, then I will be happy that I decided to use the airbrush to put stuff down first instead of brushing like this. But I'll check a little after midnight. If no one's here, then I'll just stop streaming. If you guys stick around, then I'll keep going with the white. I need to try to stream a little earlier, but it's hard with a 1-year-old, a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And then I work all day, and a house to help take care of, and have dinner, and see everybody, and do all that stuff. Help put the kids to bed since my wife is with the kids all day. It's not exactly convenient for me to come down here at 6, 7 o'clock and start doing this. But that's alright, it won't always be that way. I'll have to make a note that next time I do this live stream, I need to restart my laptop that's actually doing the streaming. So yeah, speaking of what's next, that's a good question. I don't know what people would prefer. I feel like sewing, I like sewing. So if I do 2 streams a week, I think what I'll try to do is one of the days sewing project, or painting, like watercolor or pastel or something like that, something artsy. And then the other day do minis, but I may not always do minis because I'm not sure me streaming a bunch of little skeletons is really something people are going to stay tuned for. I know there's 2 of you here, and I appreciate you being here, whoever you are, but I don't know. But then again, you never know. I could just have such an interesting personality, and people will be like, it doesn't matter what you paint, we just love hearing you talk and be a part of our nightly life. I highly doubt that, but that'd be cool too, I guess. Having said that, let's see if you're still here. Hey, still 2 viewers. That's true. You know what? Maybe that's going to be my thing, my brand, the reason to watch me live on Twitch isn't going to be for my skills. It's going to be for my charming personality. I also have a stuffy nose, and that doesn't help me right now. Boy, I really thought I was... Oh, I forgot the legs. I only did the legs on one dude. Oh, man. I'm an idiot. And I didn't do the purple or the green on the back of that guy. Yep. All right. Well, let's do these legs. I need to turn these guys just right to see in this light. Ah! I'm gonna need to redo or rethink how I set this up, because I cannot see in some of these crevasses. Not well, anyway. Alright. Starting to get a kink in my neck too. Getting old is fun. It's 12:11. Who's still here? Still got 2 viewers, unless my stream is lying to me. You know what? I wonder if one of those viewers is me, because I have it open on my iPad. The stream. I wonder if it's counting myself. That makes me sad. Oh well. Oop. I don't know if that'll come through the microphone or not. Trying to keep this in view so hopefully you can see a little bit. But with these stupid legs, it's kind of hard. There's really not much I can do about it because they're such weird angles. Oh, this guy's done. Huh. Tell you what, thinking about when I'm going to stream and keeping up with projects, it's kind of a lot of work, considering everything else I have to do in my life. I'm not complaining. I really enjoy this and I want to keep doing it, and I'm going to. I was thinking about a sewing project to do, and honestly, it might be easier to do some of it as a YouTube video and then finish it as a part of a stream. But that might be more work rather than doing it all as a stream. The problem is, there's probably lots of people that, at least I know of anyway, that probably benefit from me not streaming it so late. Because they want to see how I do something. Now granted, I know you can record your streams and put them up here on Twitch, but I also know a lot of people who sew who aren't tech savvy, and they may or may not be willing or even want or know what in the world to do with Twitch. And I have no idea how true that will be for general audiences that I don't know, who could potentially find me on social media and whatnot and come here. I don't know, something to think about. How am I gonna handle all that? What am I gonna do? I've done a couple. Well, I was supposed to do a couple sewing classes at our local fabric shop where I live. It fell through because they didn't market it very well, and people couldn't sign up unless they came into the store. Well, I had lots of interest. I was going to do a poncho, and there was a lot of interest in it. People were excited, they wanted to learn how. And lots of people that I knew who wanted to do it were younger, and they didn't necessarily live. And this sounds like ageism, and I don't mean it to sound like ageism. I shouldn't say younger, but a lot of people I knew didn't quite live where I lived. They weren't like far away across the country, but they were, you know, getting out here to walk into a fabric shop to sign up for a class was kind of a ridiculous thing to ask, especially these days when you can just as easily sign up and register for something online. Well, the fabric shop is to their credit, they're very new, they're young, they're not even a year old. So they didn't exactly have a lot up for marketing technology-wise. The class never started. So I figured this would be a good time, a good way to really one more streaming and all that kind of stuff and doing stuff on my website would be a good way to get that class up there for people who are interested. So, but I don't know, like, target audience, right? That's what I'm wondering. Like, are there enough people who are familiar enough with technology that getting on Twitch, seeing it live is something they'd be willing to do in addition to that working out with their schedule and being up late? Or would doing YouTube videos be better with only minimal live streaming of the poncho and other things? Or both? Do I do both? Do I do YouTube videos and live stream and essentially repeat building the poncho, doing it once over live streams and another time over short YouTube videos that show how to do it? That's a good question. I guess it's something to just figure out, see what works, try different things, and eventually I'll hit something. I don't think there's really a formula to success when it comes to live streaming and doing blogs and YouTube videos. Like, the main thing is, as long as I keep content coming out, it'll work itself out and people will eventually start showing up. That was a very fragmented sentence. Okay. Done with the bone weight. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's 12:21. What do we got here? Still got two people with us, probably me and someone else. I'll try a touch up with the purple, just because I want to get this going. These guys are looking pretty cool. Oh yeah, this was a smart decision. And by that I mean putting down a layer with an airbrush first, and then going over it. That's so much quicker. Alright. This song was really weird. Sounds like a God picked up a seal and squeezed it. That's what it would sound like. It sounds like a squeaky seal toy. So much better. All right. Yes, yes, yes. This is nice. I wish that I'll have to see if I can figure out a way to do a nice base coat with the airbrush on the bone. Maybe if I... Well, the only problem is the bone parts are so small. And then trying to come back, I'll probably spray so much white everywhere else. It'll be stupid. Just doing a quick smattering of color with the airbrush to get a base coat, and then doing this touch-up stuff is... Ah, crap. Ah, crap. And there, I had too much paint on my friggin' brush, and of course I screwed it up. Poopy sticks! Damn it, and white is going to like take forever to cover up that purple. So dumb. Oh, my neck, it's starting to hurt. I'm too hunched over. Oh, my palette's not wet enough. There we go. Super duper. Now this song sounds like at the end of a boss fight from an old NES video game. Some of these songs are strange. Alright. Dude's done. Next dude. Armies are so boring. Alright. Whoa, that's lots of paint. Let's not do that much paint. There we go. Good job, Rico. You're so smart. You know how to load your brush. You like my sound effects? They're so fancy. Oh, I know what I could do for Twitch. I could be one of those painters that always is like this when I paint. I'm my tongue out. Focused. My tongue's out. I'm sure there are actually lots of people out there that probably paint that way. Whatever helps you get results. Stupid arm. Ah, wish I would have glued this damn thing on. And it's about to break. Like the stupid arm that it is. Whoa, too much paint. Alright. Another Skeletor. Well, I mean, he's not done, but we're getting there. A couple more coats of the white, the bone white. Do the armor touch up the leather. It's not bad. So I've seen a lot of people on Twitch, well, I should say a lot, pretty much everybody, stream their video games. And I remember back in the day, I actually used to be really good at video games. And then something happened to me. I don't know what. I tried playing Counter-Strike not too long ago. I got absolutely dominated. I just got destroyed. It was so stupid. I was like, what the hell is this? People were just killing me left and right. Stuck with it for a few days. Figured I was just rusty, out of practice. And I got better. I got some good kills. Got my kill count up. Even survived a few times as the last guy, taking out the rest of the other team using old tactics from way back in the day when Counter-Strike first came out. Everyone was mad at me because they were like, camper. I wasn't really camping, but when you're the last person against 5 other people, I'm not gonna go running around everywhere. I'm gonna sit. And I'm going to try to find people based on what I hear. So I moved from place to place. I didn't just stay in one spot the whole time because I hate that. That's boring. Plus it always makes me mad when people do that because then you don't actually win because you're waiting for people to come to you. But yeah, I was pretty bad. And I was like, yep, there's no way that I'm going to be live streaming me playing video games unless people want to watch me die. I saw some dude the other day. I was just on Twitch to like see what was going on. Some dude playing Fortnite, which I've never played. I hear it's the rage. All the kids are talking about it. And it's freaking amazing how quick... I didn't even know what the hell's going on. I was so confused. I'm like, what is this guy doing? What is he shooting at? Because clearly he's shooting at somebody, and somebody's shooting at him. Who's shooting at him? What's going on? I didn't understand it. I was so confused. I felt so old. It's amazing that a video game can capture people's attention for so long. I feel like people have such short attention spans these days. And myself included. I mean, I'm not like super old. Like, definitely, but I don't want to sit and wait forever for a YouTube video. Like, I want quick content sometimes. Sometimes I will because I want to learn something, but lots of things these days, it's quick. Get it done, get it up, get it out. Which is why I'm second guessing streaming, painting all these skeleton guys. But I don't know. I enjoyed watching the guy play the video game, and I guess probably because it's so fast paced. Maybe there's just a lot of action, so it doesn't seem long and lengthy because things are always changing. It didn't help I didn't understand it. I was a little confused, but other than that, unfortunately, when you're painting miniatures, things don't move that fast. At least if you're doing a good job, they don't move that fast. And I totally missed this guy's hood because I went the other way. I did his bottoms instead of his top, and I thought I was done, and I'm not. They have all these little patches on their hoods, these little skeleton guys. There's like, you can't really see it, but I don't know, can you? No, that's out of focus. Anyway, they're like patches. I don't know if I'm going to highlight those. I really want to get that nitty gritty in the detail for tabletop. I just, more than anything, I just want to get these guys done so I can play. I don't care so much that they look so good that they're the envy of the world. My bigger models I do. I spent quite a bit of time on my rune golems. I was a little nervous painting them. I wanted to try to do some object source lighting, which I've never been very good at. With a brush, with an airbrush, I'm pretty good at it, but I just haven't practiced it a lot. I haven't had a lot of opportunities and models to do it. So I did a little bit, and it turned out okay. Definitely could have probably done more, but yeah. I definitely want to take my time on the rune. I have one more rune golem to paint. I have 4 total? Yeah. 4 rune golems. I have 1 left to paint because I forgot I had 4. I did the first 3. I would have done them all at the same time, but I forgot I had one more. And then I saw it after I was completely done with the first 3, and I was like, oh, farts. I forgot I had 4 of these guys. So I got out all the carrion crawlers because I have 4 of them too, so that I don't forget. They're all primed, ready to go. That might be a fun stream because I'll airbrush a lot of the carrion crawler. I won't use a brush for a good while on it because I will probably do a bunch of base coats and what do you call it? Fading stuff, transitions. I can't think of the word. Alright, that's done. I got 2 left, and then we're gonna call it quits. the music stop, or is it just really quiet? I feel like the music stopped. Nope, still playing. It's just quiet. Brush is starting to wear out. I'm gonna have to get another one. I'm always hesitant to spend. Oh wow, I really gobbled a bunch of purple where they're supposed to be green. That's great. Always hesitant to spend $15 on a brush for miniatures. Everyone says it's worth it, and it probably is, but I don't know, that's so much money for a brush for miniatures. I'll spend that money on a watercolor brush for my watercolors. But I don't know, I kind of feel like since I don't paint every day or all the time, the brushes that I have, like this one, which is a Winsor Newton brush by the way, it wasn't cheap, it wasn't 15 bucks, but it wasn't cheap. It wasn't like a $2 brush, but it's not sable either. Or any kind of, it's like a synthetic sable mix. But I still feel like it's worth the price, even though it's not your typical $2 brush. It's also not your super expensive, nice brush either. I also have a tendency to be a little harsh on brushes, if I'm being honest. so paying $15 for a brush, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good investment to me. But then again, I didn't use glaze medium forever, and I didn't use flow improver forever either in my airbrushes and in my painting, and now I use it all the time, depending on the situation, I guess. Because they're freaking amazing. Especially that flow improver. Oh my goodness. I'm not wiping my freaking tip of the airbrush all the time. Technology, it's amazing. I think once I get a nice coat of armor, silver on the armor on these guys, I think everything is going to start to look real good. I'll get some silver in there and make it pop a little bit. At least like a tabletop type of pop. Not a award-winning pop. Wow, this hand is really stiff. Oh man, that arrow's about to break. No! Shoot. Alright. Oh gosh, these guys. I shouldn't have glued them on, but they shouldn't be so freaking flimsy either. This is really annoying. So one thing that really frustrates me about Fantasy Flight, at least for this game, I don't know what their other miniatures are like. They're coming out with this sweet Lord of the Rings game. And it's got like a ton of miniatures on it. I don't know if they're going to be like this. The game itself is expensive. But there are lots of pieces to it. But I hope it's better. I hope that the minis are better than this. The minis for this game got better. They kind of figured out how to do stuff better, but for assembly, like for this kind of stuff, like how to put things together so it wouldn't break as easy and be a little more sturdy. But gosh, I don't know. The only other minis I have experience with are Descent, 2nd edition, and Warhammer stuff. And not a lot of Warhammer. I'm talking like I only have. I'm on Warhammer Shadespire, and I opened that up and I was super surprised that the minis were so freaking light and their bases were hollow. Like, it wasn't what I was used to. Most every D&D mini and any mini I've ever kind of handled had these solid black bases, and they didn't have any hollow parts on their inside. Like, but those Age of Sigmar minis and all the Warhammer minis are freaking beautiful. They're just so darn expensive. Alright. Well, I think that's it. Not bad. Started off with just brown on these guys. Now we got green, purple. Purple's fixed up. We'll do a couple more coats of white. Fix the brown, fix the green. We'll be ready to shade and do some minor highlighting. I'm not going to go crazy because I don't need to. But that's only what? 2, 4, 6, 8. It's only 8 dudes. And I have freaking, let's see, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Oh! Is that what I have left to paint? 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I have 16 archers left to paint. That's a lot. Oh, guys. Oh well. Anyway. Well, those of you who tuned in, thank you. And till next time. Peace out.